Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Social Doctor, and this is Dr. Ayushi. The Social Doctor is a platform for the doctors by the doctors, where we are on a mission to help each and every doctor with his or her career growth. And we do that by discussing journeys, experiences, and knowledge from successful medical practitioners. And today we have Dr. Deepak Muthreja with us. He being a leading pulmonologist in the city of Nagpur, he's here to discuss about his branch. How did he pick up this branch? What are the positives and what is the scope of this branch? If you intend to pick up this branch, this is a talk that you must hear to understand about the scope, the future, and the opportunities that are open with pulmonary medicine. Welcome, doctor, to the platform. It's really nice to have you here.
I thank you, Dr. Ayushi. It's a really pleasure to talk about all these things because when we started our career, we didn't have any kind of such talk. So as to, we were also confused what to choose, what not to choose.
Correct.
And I really congratulate you for starting such an important sessions for the doctors, and also I will say the one who is entering the medical field.
Correct. I completely agree. This is, understanding a branch before entering into it is very important. So, without any delay, let's start discussing about your journey. How did it go from the start?
Uh, So my journey, I'll speak about mostly about my post MBBS. It's kind of a roller coaster where we were totally confused that what to do, what not to do. And the postgraduate exams, when I entered my postgraduate, when I appeared for my postgraduate entrance, there were like lakhs of people who were applying for the seats, which were like around in thousands. So it was like 1% of the total number of seats which were for us.
Correct.
So you have to be very excellent in your academics so that you get a very good rank, and out of which partially it's your luck,
Hmm.
and then only you get a seat of your choice.
Correct.
So my choice was some kind of allied medicine, since I belong to a non-medical background. None of anybody in my family is a doctor. So
Okay.
I've always wanted that a field in which I should try and start practice early, and also that which is like a terminal branch that I study for 3 years, and then with time it's a long journey. It's a full long journey of studying and all. But still, I wanted that the official study should be finished by around 3 years, so as to get into the practice. So
Hmm.
I chose this branch of pulmonary medicine.
Hmm. Hmm.
I was actually demotivated by many because they always said me that it is pulmonary medicine is nothing but only tuberculosis. You are going to treat only tuberculosis patient,
Hmm.
which is actually not true. But the persons who were like motivating me during their times, it was just tuberculosis.
Hmm.
Because the degree which was allotted to us, now it is called as pulmonary medicine, but earlier it was like chest and tuberculosis.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So then I chose this branch. Then after 3 years of post graduation, when
Hmm.
I came out again, I was confused what to join, what not to join.
Hmm.
So then I came to Nagpur. I met one of the leading pulmonologists of Nagpur, and I joined his institute. Then I
Hmm.
realized that what is actually the scope of pulmonary medicine, that
Hmm.
how far we can get and how important this pulmonary medicine is in the current scenario.
Hmm.
People told me that go for DM in pulmonology, but I
Hmm.
preferred doing DNB. Then I did my European diploma.
Hmm.
I'm practicing since last 5 years, where I have around 8 international presentations. I have always contributed to the research in these terms. And this was like my journey. And today I am attached to 3 hospitals where I am also taking not only pulmonology, I'm also taking care of the COVID patients as well.
Correct. Correct. That's really nice to know about your journey. How what were the challenges picking up the branch, and how did you get over this? So now, as you already mentioned that this is not only TB. So what exactly a pulmonologist does, and how just understanding a bit on this.
Okay. So now, see, I'll tell the thing that every branch has its own importance.
Correct.
Yeah, I know the pulmonology nowadays is being mostly practiced by even physicians as well. But if you really go into details of pulmonology, there are many sub branches which you can also take. So since I also have an exposure to the European countries, so there people are really practicing only pulmonary vascular diseases. They are practicing certain kinds of ILDs only. They are specialized in interventions only. In interventions also, they are more specialized in endobronchial ultrasound or medical thoracoscopy. So now you have a sea of opportunities in pulmonology as well. Earlier, as in India, it was said that it is only tuberculosis. But now the pulmonology has become a very integral part of any kind of super specialty hospital or a corporate hospital where they are doing n number of procedures like bronchoscopy, which is just as similar to the endoscopy what we do for the abdomen. For the gut, what we do endoscopy, it is bronchoscopy. We are seeing the bronchus first. And we have endobronchial ultrasounds in which we do sonography of the mediastinal structure. Mediastinal structures are the structures which are present around the lung tubes, that is trachea and bronchus. So, and these are the part of interventions. Then we do thoracoscopy, which is for the pleural diseases. Then apart from interventions, we have different kinds of interstitial lung disease for which we are doing diagnosis as well as treatment. Now, since earlier we were relying only on chest x-rays, now we have high-end HRCTs by which we are diagnosing a number of lung conditions. Many rare diseases are there which were not diagnosed earlier. And now we are able to diagnose a number of rare diseases like cystic fibrosis. Earlier they used to say that in India there is no cystic fibrosis, but yes, it is there. So now it's like a very broad spectrum kind of approach in the pulmonary medicine. And if you really see whatever number of pages, if I go to the academics, the number of pages in the Harrison, there are 1.5 number of pages in our book called as Fishman.
Correct.
So, and if you really see in the medicine book, the pulmonology is one section which is like very subdued, and they give only few pages, only few sections. But in real sense, you have n number of books with lot many pages and lot many detailed information regarding the respiratory system.
Correct. That's true. So nice to know about it in detail. So if somebody wants to be a pulmonologist, how can a person go around this? What are these studies and how to go around the whole system?
Yeah, first thing is that post MBBS, there is directly MD in pulmonary medicine. Now there are many institutes. When we were entering the pulmonary medicine, there were only few institutes in India which had this MD in pulmonary medicine. More often, they were diplomas in tuberculosis and chest diseases. But now the seats have increased, and there are many institutes which are giving opportunities for the graduates to go for the post graduation in the pulmonary medicine. And really, in India, because of the government approach in tuberculosis, and I'll really appreciate what our Prime Minister has also done for this tuberculosis, eliminate tuberculosis, some program he has started.
Yes.
So with this program, he has actually upgraded all the hospitals so that now every government hospital has bronchoscope, nearly all of them. Even in a small, I came to know recently. I met a person who is actually taking care of supplying bronchoscopes to the departments of many government hospitals. I came to know even in a small city of Madhya Pradesh, they are having a good bronchoscope, and they are training the postgraduates in bronchoscopy, which is actually very good. This opportunity was not given to us when we entered. There was like only a spirometry and a OPD and a IRCU where you are doing all your stuff and learning by doing.
Correct.
But nowadays you are exposed to all kinds of bronchoscopy and everything. And also certain hospitals are bringing up this endobronchial ultrasound also. I just recently came to know about one of the hospitals in Nagpur only, that they are bringing up all kinds of highly skilled equipments for their postgraduate students. So I think that once they pass their MBBS, they can enter any kind of postgraduate institute by giving an entrance and securing a proper rank.
Correct.
And then they can enter, and they can be what we give our another 2 years after post graduation, they can learn in those 3 years as well.
Correct, correct, correct. That's nice to know. And now, after this, what are the kind of, after MD, what are the kind of job opportunities that you see for a person coming up?
See,
Because
as
this
a
is an end branch that you just mentioned.
yeah.
After 3 years, you you can get into the market to get good kind of job opportunity. So, what are those kinds?
So the thing is that, as I told you, that this pulmonology has become a very integral part for any super specialty hospital.
Correct.
Mind it, for any hospital, for going for any kind of accreditation or empanelment,
Hmm.
they require a in-house pulmonologist. They
Okay.
need to show some or the other pulmonologist who is in-house, so
Okay.
as to gain this empanelments and so as to gain the NABH accreditation as well.
Hmm.
Because
Hmm.
without that, no super specialty or multi-specialty hospital is given a clearance.
That's nice. Hmm.
So any person who is coming out of his post graduation, so
Hmm.
firstly the thing is that first he has to understand that what kind of opportunity he wants. Because once I came out of my postgraduate
Hmm.
examination,
Hmm.
I was very keen in doing interventional pulmonology as a subspecialty.
Okay.
So because of that, I went to Tata Memorial and I joined there as a observer for doing bronchoscopy.
Hmm.
Then
Hmm.
I started searching for fellowships,
Hmm.
which
Help.
fortunately I got it outside India,
Hmm.
and I did my fellowships in other interventions outside India, and certain like thoracoscopy and CMC Vellore also I went.
Hmm. Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
so first thing is that once a postgraduate person, the MD in pulmonary medicine, comes out of his hospital, first he has to understand what he has learned and what is the scope of the branch. And then he has to decide whether really he has to go to interventions or he has to practice only OPD like obstructive airway disease or sleep medicine. He has to take care of that, or he
Hmm.
has to go for a critical care.
Okay.
Because to be very frank, money is more in critical care. So people ought to go towards critical care in the early stages of their career, because
Correct.
they get paid very handsomely in critical care.
Definitely. Definitely.
But if one has to choose out of the OPD, sleep labs, or interventions,
Hmm.
so it requires a lot of patience. First, you have to get that skill. You have to do at least 1,000 bronchoscopies. You have to do at least simple 1,000 simple bronchoscopies to go to an advanced bronchoscopy like EBUS or that endobronchial ultrasound. You have to do at least thousands of intercostal drainage procedure. Then only you can go for a thoracoscopy procedure.
Yeah.
So these are the learning curves for different interventions what you are doing.
Hmm. 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 Hmm.
So once a person gets out of his college, once he has academically acquired all the skills and his degree,
Hmm.
he will have a sea of opportunities.
Hmm.
But then he would be a chooser.
Hmm.
He has to choose one line, because you cannot be frequently changing from critical care to interventions then to OPD, because
Hmm.
every branch, every subspecialty would have its own waiting period, like 2 to 3 years.
Hmm.
So once a person comes out of MD, then he can join an institute with a high load of work, where he can understand what is his requirement and what is his liking.
Correct.
Because nowadays everybody is hiring associate consultants, because there are a lot many patients of pulmonology, and
Hmm.
there are a lot many opportunities to join as an associate consultant.
Hmm.
Once you join as an associate consultant,
Hmm.
after 6 months, you get to know what are your likings, what are your dislikings. You get to understand the branch more,
Hmm.
and then you can shift to a subspecialty in which you are keen to practice in, and you
Hmm.
can develop your skills to go in that branch. And within two to
Hmm.
three years, you are uh, well established in that branch, and then people start knowing you.
Hmm. Hmm.
This is this is how a postgraduate student after completing his MD should go for.
Hmm.
But still, yeah, there are in metro cities there are different kind of opportunities. In two-tier cities there are different kind of opportunities. But I always tell my students or the people who come to me for a career counseling in pulmonology, I always tell them, you see, first you equipped yourself with all arms and ammunitions, then go for a fight. Because if you go bare, nobody's going to recognize you.
Okay.
To be successful, you don't have to do all different things. You have to do things differently. And if you have equipped yourself with all the skills, people will recognize you. That is for sure.
Hmm. That's true. That's true. So now, when you mentioned there are different opportunities in metros and in tier 2, tier 3 towns, you are also there in Nagpur practicing as a pulmonologist. What is the difference between, and you have also practiced in Tata Memorial, as you mentioned, you have seen the flow there. You are now in Nagpur. What is the difference between the two places, as well as now when you have settled down yourself in a city like Nagpur? What how is the need of a pulmonologist there, and is it easy to get established there or in a metro? Your views on the same.
See, as I told, it's not easy to get settled anywhere.
Okay.
It's a job which requires complete your sincerity towards your job, towards your patients.
Correct.
So,
Correct.
but still there is difference between metro,
Hmm.
tier 2 and tier 3 cities.
Hmm.
So uh, in metro cities, you are recognized as a pulmonologist because there people are aware what
Hmm.
is who is a pulmonologist.
Hmm.
I'll give you an example. My own relatives who are in Mumbai
Hmm.
prefer to go to a pulmonologist for cough, which is there more than 2 weeks.
Hmm.
Similar relatives of mine in Nagpur prefer to go to a general practitioner for cough more than 2 weeks. And a
Correct.
tier 3 city, they are preferring more to go towards a alternative medicine practitioners.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
But here lies the onus of awareness lies on you.
Hmm. Hmm.
The kind of you have to build up a rapport with all your patients so that the patient should realize that even if the patient is a person is having cough more than 2 weeks, they have to consult a pulmonologist because that can be anything other than a simple allergic cough.
Correct.
It can be tuberculosis, it can be some kind of interstitial lung disease or some kind of exotic lung infection,
Hmm.
which can be there.
Hmm.
So now the scenario is changing. In metro cities, yes, the big corporates are there. You get absorbed very easily, and
Correct.
they bring patients for you.
Correct.
And in tier 2 city, you have to work hard so as to make your own name, so
Hmm.
that the even if you are getting absorbed in a corporate,
Hmm.
still the patient comes to you because of your name.
Correct.
And in tier 3, again, the similar kind of scenario, you have to make people aware that there is a specialty called as pulmonology. And that is true for everything because even in cardiology,
Hmm.
people need to know that they need to seek a cardiologist. Yes, because
Correct.
cardiology, there have been lot many awareness programs which has been done by cardiologists, and because of which today the people are very well aware that if they have a chest pain with sweating, they need to go to a cardiologist.
Yes.
Similar kind of effort should have been put by the pulmonologist even that if they have cough more than 2 weeks or they are having breathlessness or they are having wheezing sound, they should seek help of a pulmonologist,
Pulmonologist.
which our local bodies and national bodies are doing.
Hmm.
But we need to put in more effort so as to establish pulmonary medicine as a branch.
Correct.
It's not about only awareness about one person, it's about awareness about the
Many.
complete fraternity.
Yes. Yes.
So only after that we would be able to practice freely. And yes, the opportunities what will be different. As discussed earlier, in metro cities, because of n number of corporate hospitals, you can get absorbed easily. In a two-tier city, you have certain difficulties. Then but you have to put in continuous efforts, and you have to be sincere to your job and to your patients.
Hmm. Hmm.
Once you are sincere in your job and you are good at your job,
Hmm.
people will start recognizing you and you will become successful.
Correct. That's true.
That you don't have to run behind the success. The
Hmm.
success should run behind you. You should be so skilled and so efficient in your work that then the patient will come for you. Okay, I want to show to this doctor only. This
Correct.
is kind of thing what will happen in tier 2 and tier 3 cities.
Yes. 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 And maybe, you when you get established earlier in tier 2 tier 3 cities, before, during the awareness is growing, it helps you to build your name earlier and establish a practice for a longer run, because then you are those names that everybody knows, bhai कफ है तो उनके पास जाना types, this
Correct, correct,
very common.
absolutely correct.
So that's nice to know. So now also you have mentioned about your fellowship, your European fellowship. What are the kind of fellowships that are prevalent in pulmonary medicine that people can go for, and good places to for them? And how was your experience
Okay.
in regarding your fellowship?
So now, what is happening, since there are a lot many pulmonologists coming out every year.
Hmm.
So there are now, when I came out of my practice, there was only one institute in India who was offering the fellowship in intervention pulmonology
Correct.
or any other fellowships. Either you have to go for a DM in pulmonary medicine and critical care, which I personally think is waste of time, because the 3 years what you put in for that DM, if you put in for your own establishment, that will pay you more than that doing that DM, because you are not going to learn anything new.
Correct. Correct. Correct.
So I preferred going for different fellowships. So when once I came out of the my postgraduate institute,
Hmm.
after that I joined a hospital which already had a senior pulmonologist, and I was able to do lot many procedures and everything. Then I realized that I need to refine my skills. I need to learn more about it.
Hmm.
So then I enrolled myself to the European Respiratory Society,
Hmm.
which was easily through which I got a lot of help from the Indian Chest Society, which is our Indian society for all the pulmonologists. So
Hmm.
because of them, I came to know about this European Respiratory Society, where I'm frequently presenting my presentations
Hmm.
since last 5 years.
Hmm.
So when I saw there were a lot many fellowships available, lot many bursaries which were given to the good pulmonologists so as to enhance their skills.
Hmm.
And then I took my fellowship in endobronchial ultrasound, an endobronchial ultrasound course in Heidelberg, which was first part. I cleared the exam. Then I went for second part in Copenhagen, which is CAMS, Copenhagen Academy of Medical Education and Sciences in Denmark. There I completed my second part and gave my exam. And also during that time, I came to know about certain fellowships which were happening in India in CMC Vellore. So I went for this thoracoscopic fellowship. So you need to do these small workshops, or I'll not say fellowships. It is like small workshops which are happening all over world.
Hmm.
And you need to be aware of, you have to spend certain amount of money so
Hmm.
as to make yourself equipped with
Hmm.
all these skills and everything. I'll really say that, as I have seen Indians practicing and Europeans also practicing, we have lot many skills than them.
Hmm.
But what we learn our skills very in a very crude way,
Hmm.
while they learn in a very methodical way. So we need to have an exposure outside India as well, so as to learn what kind of practice they are doing. They call it as problem-based learning.
Hmm.
In India, we are like taught the way our senior used to do. We also do the same way. Then after that, we refine our skills by committing certain kinds of mistake, and then we learn.
Yes.
There, it's not like that. They have a protocol which you have to follow. Anyhow, you cannot breach the protocol,
Hmm.
and then you learn the skill. So, and if you ask me, number of fellowships, there are a lot many fellowships nowadays available.
Hmm.
From every year, European Respiratory Society is conducting lot many small courses of 10 days, 7
Hmm.
days, in which you can apply. They are also providing you with the financial assistance,
Okay.
pre-registration, and to and fro, that also they are providing.
Okay.
And people have lot much resilience about they are very reluctant to go to European countries to
No.
develop the skill, because they feel that it's very costly. I'll tell
Hmm.
you very frankly,
Hmm.
if you go there as a student and
Hmm.
you take a dormitory to stay in, it is very cheap. It's like 700 rupees a day.
Okay. Hmm.
That is with breakfast. Uh,
Acha.
10 to 15 euros a day, kind of this also price you can back. You don't have to go for like 100 euros a day or 50 euros a day. Sometimes it's like what I have opted was like 15 euros a day. 15 euros at that time was around 700, 800 rupees.
Correct.
So this is the thing that first you have to explore and you have to come out of like अपने खुद के घोंसले से निकलना है पहले, and you have to learn. You cannot be you cannot be in your pond and think that everything is same. You have to come out of your pond. You have to understand what is actually happening all over world, and then only you would be able to acquire those skills. So as told earlier, that number of fellowships are available, be it interventions, be it pulmonary vasculitis, be it ILDs, be it obstructive airway disease. So a person who is coming out of his postgraduate school has lot many sea of opportunities for going and learning this skill. And I really tell the students who are actually now doing this, are going for this pulmonary medicine, that while doing your post graduations only, you can see what kind of opportunities and try to develop liking in certain kind of thing which they would be keen to practice in future, so that they don't waste time just after clearing the exams. Because the like, I will not say waste it is like doing an investment of time, but I had to spend around 1 to 2 years understanding ki what was I ought to do.
That's true. That's true. And maybe, because you took that time, you made a right decision for yourself, because it's important. See, if you ask me, it's important to take that time before jumping for anything that you're going to marry for your whole life.
Right.
So it's fine to take 1 to 2 years, but yes, because that is something that is with you till your death. Your branch is always with you.
Yeah.
So
Actually,
that
choosing a branch is like marrying it. What uh, we used to be told by our seniors.
correct.
So you have to be very specific while choosing a branch. And as I told you that I was, people were demotivating me since the start that what you would be doing, you would be practicing just tuberculosis and all these things. But that is not true. So just to share a small thing that when I entered my postgraduate this, we were around 3 people who completed their post graduations like that. So out of which some people have gone into only critical care.
Okay.
One person has gone into a general practice where he is taking care of everything. And I am doing like mostly in the pulmonology, and that too intervention pulmonology. So there are lot many opportunities. It's not like that the end of the, once you have studied that it is like end of the world. Now you are like you have only few things to take care of. No, you can grow yourself like anything. Some people do have they have a heart for going only for general practice. Yes, they can go and do the general practice.
Correct.
There's no harm in doing that.
That's nice to know, to have your options open despite after picking up a branch. So now, because you have also done your fellowship internationally, what are the opportunities and scope internationally for pulmonary medicine?
So there are, to be very frank, foreign countries are very keen to recruit Indian people.
That's true. That's true.
They're very keen. But the only thing what they require is clearing certain exams.
Yes. Yes.
So, but after clearing your this thing, now you have to understand while you are doing your MBBS. If you want to go settle in abroad, or you want to get settled in the European or USA in states, so you need to post MBBS only. You need to go there because you have to do the MD there, and
Correct.
also you have to clear their language exams. Yeah, certain countries do recognize our Indian MD, like Denmark recognizes it. You need to just clear Danish exams. Even Spain recognizes it. Italy recognizes it. But they are preferring people who have really cleared their European exam, which I have cleared, that European diploma in adult respiratory medicine. So if you have cleared that, you get a upper hand while being selected for the interviews and all as a pulmonologist. But
That's
post MBBS, if you go there, the life is a bit easier because you did not have to. Because here, once you go after your post graduation, you have to unlearn certain skills and you have to learn new skills.
learn new skills. Yes.
There, you would be brought up in a way they will like make you skillful in their ways, not in the way what you learn in India. So post MBBS, you can go there, or if the person who has done MD, after that also there are lot many opportunities. Be in Middle East, they are always in search of a good pulmonologist,
Correct.
and even in your Singapore, Malaysia, there are lot many opportunities. You just have to search, and but you have to be prepared to give like 5-6 years there. You cannot say that I'll go there and I'll earn handful of money and come back to India and start my practice. No, you have to put in efforts there as well, and you have to be there for at least 6 to 7 years so as to have an idea what is going on there, what kind of opportunities you have it there, and they have a very decent kind of work. I have worked in a Roskilde hospital at Copenhagen. Means I was fortunate enough to see their working pattern. Absolutely organized. Absolutely, you get time to what you want to do also. In India, it's like uh, Monday to Sunday work. I will not say Monday to Saturday, I'll say Monday to Sunday work. It's you are busy always as a pulmonologist because always there is some other person who is calling you. Yeah, this patient, I need your opinion and all. Even on Sundays, even at night.
Correct.
So, but there it's like completely organized. You will have complete your work-life balance and everything. So abroad is a totally different ball game. And if you go post MBBS, you will get used to their methods of doing things, and you would used to um, do the things as they do. So post MBBS, you have to take a decision. Post MD, yes, you can go. There are still a lot many opportunities.
Correct. Glad to know this. So now when you have been practicing as a pulmonologist, what are the good points as well as some of the challenges about the branch that you will like to mention?
I'll start with the challenges first. Because it's always better to end with good points.
Yes.
So the first and foremost challenge is the unawareness about the branch.
Correct.
People go to n number of doctors, they visit n number of doctors before seeking yours. So you are in a position where a person will come to you only after being like totally, I'll frankly say that being misdiagnosed and given certain kinds of medications which should not have been given. And then they come to you for a proper management. At that time, we always tend to lose that golden period of treatment, what we call it in medical sciences.
Correct.
So you would have a lot many challenges in treating a patient. You will always get a critical patient to treat because simple patient will not come to you. Second challenge is about the referrals. People normally don't refer a patient to you because they always think that the patient, after being diagnosed by you, the patient will become your patient. In India, we have concept like Mera patient, Tera patient.
Yes.
So to be very frank, patient is of nobody. Patient always think of his own convenience. Patient always think of his own benefit. Today he will go to one doctor, another day he will go to another doctor, and he will try to speak abusive word about the previous doctor.
Yes.
So one thing what Indians have to understand, that there is nothing like tera mera. There is nothing like mine or yours. It's always ours. Like you have to consider a patient as a diseased body, and you don't have to take ownership of that patient. This is my patient. So, but for this challenge, what I prefer, I diagnosed my patient and I sent them back to their treating physicians. Because of that, they started sending me more patients because they knew that they're not losing their patients. But the referral started increasing.
Yes.
So this is what I did to overcome this hurdle or challenge. And Third challenge is that today in this world, because I told that people are not aware about your branch,
Hmm.
you get paid very less. This is the third most important challenge.
Hmm.
Once you come out of, I'll I'll say, once you get out of your postgraduate institute, you should be prepared that you are going to be paid less than an MBBS person since you are starting your career.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're going to the critical care, you will get a very handsome pay. But then that is a diversion of your from your own core branch.
Yes.
It's a critical care is a branch, sub branch of pulmonary medicine, but
Hmm.
it's a totally different ballgame because you are taking
Hmm.
care of every organ.
Hmm.
In
Correct.
pulmonary medicine, you are mainly concerned with your lungs.
Hmm. Hmm.
So you need to be prepared that yeah, I would be jobless for a few days. For that time, I'll start apna, collect doing my uh, investing on my own skills that I should do after
Hmm.
completing the project that a person should be prepared for.
Hmm.
These were the few challenges. And now coming down to the positive points. Positive points, you can overcome any kind of hurdle you come during your practice.
Okay. Hmm.
For unawareness, I'll tell you what I have done. I try to do more and more talks.
Hmm.
I try to make people aware that if you are having cough more than 2 weeks, you come down to a pulmonologist to show.
Hmm.
And I made people aware, giving more and more CMEs, getting associated with more and more hospitals where they try to incorporate my skills so as to give benefit to the patients.
Hmm.
And because of that, you come out of the hurdle of unawareness. Now, if you, I recently got to know that auto rickshaw driver was speaking about me to a patient
Hmm.
that you're going to this person. Yeah, for any cough, you should go to this person. And that is the level of awareness that now people have got uh,
Hmm.
because you tend to make people aware. Always give time to your patients because they are going to be your word for publicity. You don't have to keep any PRO or something.
Hmm.
It's like you tell them, you
Hmm.
make them aware, you make one person aware, he will make other people aware.
Hmm.
And this is how this things will work.
Yes. 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 I think that's true. That's yes. Everything.
And these are, then the positive thing is, once you have made people aware, once you have done right testing in your branch, see, it pays you off. You have to keep patience.
Correct. Correct.
You cannot be impatient when you are practicing. You cannot be impatient. You have to keep patience. If you are doing righteous thing, the work will come to you. People will seek you, then you seeking work. But first, you have to prove yourself.
Yes. Yes. That's
These are the positive points. And the branch, yeah, it is a very good branch of pulmonary medicine. I'll tell you, it is like a very upcoming branch in India.
true.
Every branch has been developed to the extreme, like cardiology, it has gone to its extreme. Now we have all the procedures done in cardiology, but this branch is still evolving. We are coming up new and new things.
Hmm.
So a person choosing this pulmonary medicine will have an opportunity to be a part in the evolution of this pulmonary medicine. He can take this pulmonary medicine to a different level.
Yes.
So
Yes.
this is the positive points about our
Correct.
brand.
That's true. So now when you mentioned about the pay scale, if you can, if you can give an insight on the pay scale and job security for a pulmonologist, how is it?
See, if you have done your MBBS, your job is secure. I'll tell
Yes.
you very frankly.
Mhm.
You can easily earn your livelihood.
Mhm.
But that now again depends on what kind of your lifestyle is, right?
Correct.
So it's like need can always be fulfilled, greed cannot,
Mm.
right? The pay scale depends from like if when once you come out of your postgraduate institute, if you're joining as an associate consultant or a junior consultant, it
Mm.
ranges from 60,000 to 1.5 lakh depending on the place you are working. If you go in critical care, it's again within 1.5 lakhs a month,
Mm. Mm.
and it can go till the then the sky is the limit. Once you have acquired skills, once you have patience, then it's not about the salary. Then it's
Definitely.
about the professional fees what you're getting.
Correct. Correct.
So the minimum pay scale is what you have, what I have told.
Good.
Maximum is the sky is the limit. So you can gain anything and everything.
That's true. Yes, we were also discussing for the freshers, and after that, I also agree. After the skill, you can get anything. You know, it all depends on your skill.
All depends on your skill and your clientage.
Clientele.
If you have a good patience, good amount of patience, I've seen people earning 25 lakhs a month. I've seen them.
Yes, yes, yes. That's
But yes, you have to be patient. You cannot today after just passing out, you cannot say, here I need 25 lakhs a month. This is not gonna happen. No, nobody is gonna give you that. So you have to know your limitations and you have to keep working on it. And you have to be very sincere and you have to be righteous to your own job. Then only it is going to pay. Because nowadays what I see youngsters indulging in is fast money. They want quick money. I'll not reveal the name, but certain juniors of mine, they came out and they told we need at least 2.5 to 3 lakhs a month. Doesn't happen that way. You need to at least understand that first you have to build your own clientage. You have to have your own name. You need to have a skill which is actually different from your
peers,
fellow colleague.
Yes.
So then only you will come to a point, and for that you need to invest at least 4-5 years of your life. And then only there would be a person will tell, yes, I know this doctor, he's a good doctor, he's a good pulmonologist, and then you can get a number of referrals.
Correct.
So there won't be any quick money for sure. You need to be patient. Yeah. For living a good life in Nagpur, even 60,000 is fair enough. In Mumbai and all, the start pay is around 1.5. That is, I think it's fair enough for being in Mumbai also if you are hailing from Mumbai.
Yes. That's true. So nice to know about all of this. So let's end our discussion on a high note, something motivational from your end that has motivated you in your journey and also will keep on motivating students to pursue the branch.
As I spoke earlier also, that successful people don't do different things. They do things differently.
Correct.
Whatever branch a person chooses, you have to be the best in that so that people know you for that.
Correct. Correct.
Many a times what happens ki people get demotivated here, what branch I have chosen, what I'm going to do about this branch. Now I have chosen it. Be it any branch in the medical science. I'll tell you very frankly, any branch and every branch in medical science has limitless boundaries.
Correct.
You can reach to an extent where people look upon to you as a best pulmonologist. I will not use words like best or the worst, but people look to you as a good practitioner, good pulmonologist who will do a righteous thing. So it is if you do things correctly and in a righteous way, it will always pay you. The way we say, the karma, it returns.
Correct. Correct.
So it is the same thing. And to be motivated, you keep on doing the righteous things. There are times when you are frustrated. I am also many times I'm also frustrated, but I know that if I do the righteous thing, it will come back. You just need to have patience. There are ups and downs in life. Always there are like crest and trough. Life is full of crest and trough. If there is trough, it is going to be crest one day. So you have to believe on yourself and your skills.
Correct. Correct. It's so nice to know about this, the karma thing, as well as to do, to understand that every branch in medicine is so deep that you just need to believe in your branch and go deeper and deeper and believe to be an excellent practitioner in the same than to think of switching and to going somewhere else. That's very rightly said.
Absolutely, because it is always said, the grass is always greener on other side.
Correct.
But you don't realize that you are also on other side for certain people. So you have to start watering your own grass to make it more greener.
Yes.
Other than thinking about other people's grass.
Yes. Thank you so much, Dr. Deepak, for such an insightful discussion. And I'm sure apart from all, obviously pulmonary medicine, you have shared such nice motivational quotes also to keep everyone motivated in the right track about their branch, because honestly, with every doctor, there are times that you get confused even after being in the branch, whether it was a right decision or not. And I'm sure things like this helps to keep you positive and motivated and going further deeper into the branch and practicing it in a better way. And obviously, thank you for discussing about pulmonary medicine, a branch which is so less talked about between everyone. And if someone wants to pick up the branch, I'm sure this talk will be really helpful for them. Thank you so much everyone for viewing us at this time. For understanding about the branch in depth, do share it among your friends and colleagues who wants to understand about the branch and wants to pick up this branch for a better future. Thank you so much everyone for being here. Also do follow us on our Instagram and YouTube channels. There also you can find all our old videos that can also help you in your career growth in a positive way. Thank you so much, Dr. Deepak. Thank you everyone for
Thank
being
you.
here. Yes, thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Bye.